quick, we're just going to kind of go over. So this is all on the 1 minute time frame. So this is very small time frame. Actually, the only thing, I'm going to bust it open to this pause, to this 5 minute, just so you could see I had taken this manipulation leg. So I called this a manipulation leg. We seem to be in a bit of an accumulation zone. Finally broke out of said accumulation zone, put in a wick, tested this equilibrium, and then we reversed out of it. So to me, this is a pure manipulation leg. So this is a good one to take. So I took that leg, and that gave me the confluence of, hey, I think that at market open we're going to long up until one of these levels. So I did not know if we were going to long to this level or to this level, right? I did not know that for sure, but I had the confidence that we were going to have longs up at least higher, right? Because we have this manipulation leg put in beautifully. We clear the manipulation leg, we retest it. We don't even retest the 50% zone. So it's a very strong leg right now. And so we can assume that we are going to want to test higher highs, right? Like that's just what we can assume based off this leg getting put in. And so this leg has now since been, I guess you could say, disqualified, right? So I will be deleting this for like future reference, but I just wanted to have this up here because I wanted to kind of show you guys what kind of my thought process was when I was going into the market. And so unfortunately, I ended up losing this trade, but this is just, I mean, this is just data, right? So sometimes the market is going to just retrace a little bit more than you think it will, right? Like honestly, I mean, it's frustrating to lose that, but we can barely even really call that a loss, right? Because we're correct on the draw, right? As you can see, look where my TP was, perfect. So we're correct on the draw. We're correct on a retest for our entry, right? So see where we retest, we don't get any close. And and we entered with patience, right? We didn't try and enter like up here and get panicked by being down, $1,000 immediately, right? We waited for a retrace. And so although I'm frustrated with this loss, I'm not frustrated with myself, right? Because I followed the rules, right? So I took this deviation. I saw, okay, so we have an outstanding level here that I think we're going to be attracted to, right? We have some liquidity. We have some liquidity that we haven't swept yet, right? So we have things that can kind of craft our story for this first move of the day, right? And so so I lost this trade. It was frustrating, got stopped out, and then it ran right to TP. So once we get to this zone, this is where I just start watching, right? I would not enter I wouldn't enter a trade right here, right? So as you can see, if you wanted a straight 2.5 entry, you don't get tapped in. If you want a negative 2.25 entry, you do get tapped in, but if you have like this is honestly kind of a big stop. That's like a 20-point stop, right? And so you're not really like, right? Am I tripping? 800 to 800. Okay, that's actually not too bad of a stop. That's a 15-point stop. So I would say if you entered straight off at 2.25, you could have had a healthy stop and gotten away with it. But I personally would have what I did to catch this short was just wait for confirmation, right? I just wanted to see us fail to close above and start to push below, right? So if we are failing body closes around this equilibrium, if we can't get a body close over it, right? So for example, like this type of a body close, right? We can't get it over this equilibrium. That is a pretty good indicator that we're going to take a leg down. Now, we can't say it's a 100% reversal, but we can at least say we don't have enough liquidity to go higher, right? And so when so we tapped into this zone, so we could see reversals off this zone, right? And we also could see it off this zone. So when we tap into this zone and we start to show signs of reversal, that is where I started to prick my ears up. I watched, I was patient, waited for us to start to break below this equilibrium. Then I entered on a retest and just targeted, I just targeted us filling this gap. And let's be honest, I could have targeted liquidity. I could have targeted equilibrium. I could have targeted I could have targeted a high. I could have targeted equilibrium. So there was a ton of things that I could have targeted within this zone that I did not. And so, I would say that's just a lapse of judgment on me, right? That's just because, hey, we're a little frustrated. We just lost on 3 accounts right here. So, we don't want to lose on this singular account now too. And so we got a little antsy, we just wanted to take our profits. And so we took them. And so I would say that's not the worst thing in the world, but, in general, I would say be disciplined with your trades. Take it to the zone, right? Take it to the spot you have your eye on. and be disciplined, because like I said, I would have had so today I'm technically down, right? So I lost $300 times 3 accounts. So that's about $900. And then I made about $500, right? So, I mean, I'm honestly down $400 on the day, right? And so I would have been, at the very least, it would have been a break even day or even positive if I just held it to, equilibrium or liquidity, right? So, we have things to think about, good things to think about, but we can at the very least say, hey, first analysis, first manipulation like we took, valid, gave us a good story, gave us the reasoning we needed to find this long, right? And even it's kind of crazy. I was even thinking about this. I could have entered like off of just a pure liquidity sweep. I just would prefer, so like when I enter off liquidity sweeps, I would like the Goldbach level to be a little bit more aligned with the liquidity sweep. I would like this level to be kind of, maybe right here, maybe at 616. Then I would say that would give me the confidence to just set a limit right here and say, yeah, I think we're just going to sweep in reverse. But seeing as how the Goldbach level wasn't really aligned with the liquidity sweep, that just didn't give me a ton of confidence to just enter that, right? I would prefer a little bit more alignment. And so yeah, like I said, we could have literally just set a limit for a liquidity sweep right here with like a 10-point stop and it would have worked. But I would argue that that is not a consistent way to get wins long term. And so we didn't enter off of that because, hey, we didn't get our confirmation, enter off of our confirmation. So yeah, so that's just a little bit of a yap sesh for the day. Like I said, let me know if this is helpful to you, unhelpful, if you think I'm full of crap or what. But yeah, I hope this is helpful.